Alright, so I figured I'd just put a little video out here. Considering all the Mass Effect balance changes are done, there's no real fear of this being nerfed. So yeah, I figured it's about time that I spread this to the masses. Some may already know this strategy, but it's basically a really easy way to farm out credits if you're doing a little bit solo. Even if you're with multiple people in the game, this is incredibly easy just to farm out credits. So, uh, first off, you're going to want the Crow Guard, the Krogan Vanguard. And you saw my power setup right there. The main thing, you can do this even at level 17, just get everything that boosts your shields up. But if you set it up just like I have there, I'm not even full level 20 right now, you should be good. But yeah, you want to start on Firebase Glacier, which is probably the most important thing because it really allows the enemies to group up close together. And it actually allows you to do objectives fairly fast. If you're feeling like a little bit of bonus XP, you can actually go on the hazard version of this map, which is what I'm playing on right now. It makes it go a little bit faster because the swarm actually does take out a few enemies as well. Um, and you can pretty easily withstand it as the Crow Guard. The next thing you want to do is make sure it's against Geth. That's why this is on gold and not platinum. Simply for the fact that Geth can't insta-kill you. I've no idea how many times that has happened to me as a Crow Guard, and it just failed me instantly. You know, you can try and avoid it, but it's not going to happen if you're playing this build. So, you can see I have Rage right away, and this is pretty much where the strategy comes in. You want to biotic charge everything as soon as your biotic charge is reset, and until then, just beat the shit out of them. I mean, you're a Krogan, what else are you going to do? But you'll notice that I've actually done this quite a few times. I've kind of perfected this strategy, I want to say. I've actually gone a couple times where I've gotten 4 people in the game all doing this same thing, and it's pretty intense, let me tell you. The rounds go very quickly. I don't know how much of a world record speed that would come close to, but it's incredibly fun. You'll notice at a few points that I'm actually going, and this is on Xbox, by the way, but it should work on PC just as well. I have both versions, so I can attest to that. And you can actually set up the controller to work pretty much like it does on Xbox on PC if you're doing that. It's a little bit of coalesced modding, but outside of that, it's pretty simple. Anyway, you'll notice that I actually know at a lot of points how much damage these enemies can take. So it'll actually go a little bit quicker. For example, the rocket troopers, all you gotta do is charge them once and then do one heavy melee. At least at this level of character here. And they should die in pretty much one hit. So, you know, depending on how that goes. You'll see later when the primes come up, there are a few strategies for those. But there is actually a rhythm, because every time you do a basic melee, you can actually preemptively press and hold down the B button on Xbox, the melee button, to do a heavy melee. And you'll actually get off a heavy melee after the charge, a regular melee, and then another heavy melee in the same time that it would normally take you to actually do 3 regular melees. So you actually find there is a rhythm to the melees. But yeah, charge does still do more damage. So just as you go, just charge as much as you can, even if you don't need to recharge your shields. You'll notice early on in the waves, my shields don't even go down enough to get my health taken away. And this, remember, is on gold. So this is supposed to be the second hardest difficulty. It was the hardest until Platinum came out, obviously, but Platinum has a lot more variety of enemies, many that can insta-kill you. So here's the first objective wave. This is targets. This is pretty simple. Just go in there and beat the shit out of them. Here you'll see me taking on the Prime. For most cases, especially when there's only one Prime, what you should do is just focus on the Prime, and your biotic charge will actually take care of the enemies around you. That's you'll notice on the power select that I took area of effect damage on Biotic Charge. And what that does, you can focus on the Prime, but you also take out other enemies around. Mainly I use it though for the stun ability. It stuns every enemy around you, and it gives your shields a chance to recharge. It allows you to actually use your melee and all that. So, right on to the second Prime. This is actually a pretty easy objective. I don't know if I get it in this match. It's been a while since I've seen this footage, actually. But there is one objective where you have to go and hack 4 consoles, whether that's deactivating them or activating them or whatever the computer says it is. You have to go and sit on 4 objectives and just watch there. For this reason, I actually like to take the shield regeneration as opposed to the damage after a heavy melee perk on my shield tree. And basically, that allows me to stay alive. This class is basically meant to stay alive. It doesn't matter what the power recharge is, you're basically buffing your shields the entire time. Anything else is really the opposite of what you want to do. Some people might want to take like power recharge, for example. Trust me, since you're buffing your shields so much and your multipliers are on your shields, the more you buff them, the longer you have before you go down, so you can let your power recharge a little bit longer then too. That's the same with buffing your melee damage. It's really not what you want to do. So just anything to buff your shield strength. After that, any kind of gear that you want, you're going to want to have anything that boosts your shield. Like I said, the shield booster, or I used for the longest time the Stronghold package, also very nice, or the Juggernaut shield, I believe it is, where it increases your melee and your shield. But then after that, I think maybe it's shield boosters. It's the one-off, use it once and then it's gone equipment. Basically, use those if you need to, but this is supposed to be really easy, and you don't use any equipment, so no meta gel, no rockets, no shield boosters, nothing. But this is going to be very helpful for any kind of farming out credits. And there you can see, you can even get some grabs, increase your medals, increase your score just a little bit more. This also is good for boosting up friendlies, so if you want to have 3 low-level players come into the game. Very simple. Plus, they can actually help either with distracting enemies, especially on objective waves, or actually helping get objectives. You actually will need them for anything like area hacks or the moving hacks. I don't even remember what they're called. It's been a while since I played Mass Effect. Yeah, it's very helpful for boosting them up as well. Another handy little thing you can do, you'll notice the storm is actually helping me out a bit there. It really doesn't affect the Crow Guard too much. If you can actually get a prime on stairs, what that'll do is you can actually go underneath them. They will constantly try and hit you with their melee, and they will not be able to hit you because you are below them. Their melee actually goes out in a straight line and you are actually below them. Of course, with all of your stunning abilities, you will eventually push them back to the top of the stairs, at which point, you will start being hit by them. But it does give you a small respite from one of the primes if you are up against 2 or something like that. So you can focus on one as you're pushing up some stairs, and the one behind you is the only one hitting you. So it's basically the same as only playing against 1 prime, but you get to take out 2 at once. A little bit later in the game, I do believe you will see me, because this is a gold, go up against 3 primes at once, or maybe 4 even, I have come across. For circumstances like those, you have to realize that even Krogard isn't a god. I mean, there are a few times when I was first trying out this strategy, and this was way back when the I think it was Rebellion DLC, or Resurgence DLC, one or the other, first came out. I was using this strategy just to kind of try it out. But people actually called me a hacker because I was not going down. And no, not hacking, just using a very effective build in certain circumstances. You know, the Geth Gold White farming, not nearly as effective as this, because this you can actually do solo, and you don't need to use any equipment whatsoever, rockets, whatever. You don't need to build a team full of Voluses and Solarians and what have you. So, no, just going on, farming them out like this. It doesn't go particularly fast because this is meant as a survival build, as opposed to a speed build with a lot of damage. So you can actually go, if you're good enough with really any character, and you can solo gold. It's especially fast if you use like a Geth Hunter or something like that. But the problem with that, you don't have anything that really regens your shields, and it does require some amount of skill not to go down, even though you can kill stuff very fast. This here is supposed to be just really easy, really simple, really survivable. You see I'm up against 2 primes right now, and I still am not getting any of my health taken off. You will know after a certain point there are times when you want to focus on the small guys, because there is a limited number of enemies that can be affected by your biotic charge for the stunning effect, obviously. So focus on the small enemies, wear them down, take them out, and then go back to the Geth Primes if you're really surrounded by a lot of enemies. But there are times also when you just want to run away, because you will be outnumbered. And that's just a fact of the game. This isn't the best build in the game. It's just very easy for this one type of strategy. The other thing, because of this though, you actually get some really easy challenges. You'll see right here, I'm below some stairs on the Geth Prime, and he's trying to melee me. He is not able to. And now he's actually pushed up from the stairs, so instead of me pushing him back, there we go. Let's get him up to the top of the stairs. It's actually very good for getting your Geth challenges up, so you'll notice I have a Geth 2 or 3 or something like that, just because I fought so many Geth enemies doing this. Whereas collectors, they'll actually take a little bit longer to get all those challenges. If you ever feel like a little bit of risky business there, or you have a pause in combat, you can actually shoot the swarm, and it'll actually get a little bit bigger. It'll help take out enemies better. It might do a little bit more damage to you, but it's by far going to help you more than it hurts you, because notice the number of enemies around me. I'm only one guy. This is actually going to wear down on all of them, and the swarm actually does get bigger, so it's going to wear down on even more of them. If you actually shoot that, which is probably the reason why I have right now the Talon equipped. Normally it's anything that gives you 200% recharge. Otherwise, any kind of pistol that will increase melee damage and power damage at once, because there are those 2 attachments now that you can put on there. This gameplay is as of the most recent balance changes, so I mean, you see there are Geth bombers and all that around here. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where just buff whatever you have. If there was an attachment that buffed shield strength, I definitely would put that on. I know I've actually run the assault rifle with armor piercing, and then the melee attachment for the assault rifle. That actually has been pretty effective. The armor piercing is basically just so I can shoot through these windows here at the very end when I'm waiting for extraction. What it'll let me do is it'll let me get some extra points by, oh, you put in some points on that Geth Prime, some damage points. So at the end, when everything dies, you actually get the kill for that. Just a little bit of extra points, never hurts. Yeah, but you can see right here, I'm just trying to draw the enemies over. This is one of those hack objectives. So I have to draw the enemies to one side of the map, and then I will quick run to this side. You'll actually see here where the regen delay on my shield actually comes in handy. My shield starts regenning just enough so that that actually doesn't really affect me, those rockets, because there's just enough pause in between there where I can regen my shields. if I actually just took the increase in melee damage, what it would do is it wouldn't allow me to do that, and I would have had some of my health taken off there, most likely. Yeah, this is actually a pretty nice gameplay here, I think, because I can draw the enemies to one side of the map, draw them to the other side, if I need to get a hack, just so that I'm not swarmed by enemies, because honestly, killing them at this point is just going to be wasting my time. This isn't a speed build, like I said before. So, on to the fourth objective. I'm just going to wait over here, draw them over here a little bit more. Nothing wrong with taking out one enemy or two while I'm over here. You know, get some points while I'm waiting for the rest to work their way over. Especially the primes, those are the main thing. Just wait a little bit longer, and then shoot the swarm. There we go. The swarm will attempt to come after you sometimes, but usually what I'll do is I'll shoot it, and the enemies near it will be taken care of, and I'll be able to run away fast enough. Yeah, but you can see even with the melee here, if I didn't have my shield regen delay, it actually would take down my shields even more, and I would just have to rely on the strength of my shields as opposed to the strength of my full shields as it starts to regenerate. Because when you're not attacking something, you still want to stay alive, and that's purely for those objectives, but those will come up, and it's something you will want to do. As far as everything else, I've found that the 30% reduction in recharge for the barrier that you have on, and I always have that on during this gameplay, it actually isn't as effective as boosting the shields. Like I said, everything you do is to boost your shields. Just to make yourself as tanky a character as possible. But I actually have tested this quite a few times. I've tried a bunch of different things. This is by far the most effective way to build this character if you're going to be doing this strategy, and this strategy really is quite helpful. Notice also that the Talon here, it's not fully leveled up, but it will give me 200% recharge. If you don't get 200% recharge on a certain weapon, just don't use that weapon. Simple as that. It is something where if you don't get 200% recharge, that 1% or that 11%, whatever it is, of extra recharge time will make a difference, no matter how small. It doesn't matter if it's an assault rifle that you're using instead of a pistol, so you won't be able to use your certain attachments that increase your melee or your power damage. So be it. This is about being a tank. I can emphasize that as much as I want, but it's going to be one of those things that it is integral to this build. As far as the last ability, though, I should mention there is one point that you will have left over. You will have 6 points for your tree build left over. Those are the ones that I'm missing at the moment. You can either put that into reduces shotgun weight, which is at the end of your weapon slash power damage tree, I believe. You can actually increase your weapon damage as rarely as you'd use that. Or you can actually put a point on Carnage, just so that you can always have an ability to throw off at range when you're out of ammo, when you don't want to charge directly into the giant group, just to do some extra damage. Plus, it can actually help you with some combos. So you can actually go in and carnage them, get them on fire, and then detonate that with a biotic charge so that there is a small fire explosion. The damage of the fire explosion will be based on your level that you have upgraded. You would have 3 levels done into Carnage. but it's really something that you won't be using often. It is just another ability that you put on there. I typically put on reduces shotgun weight, just because why not? there, there is no right way to do it, but Carnage, having that ability there tempts me too much, and because that'll actually be a slow recharge on Carnage, here just farming out my grab points here, just so I get a gold medal on that, or at least a silver. But yeah, the Carnage will be a slow recharging thing, and it's not going to be effective strategy. It's not going to be very fast, but it does come in handy in some circumstances. Otherwise, like I said, increasing your weapon damage. I do have a lot of ammo. I really don't run out. If you do want to put on a little bit of extra weapon damage for those rare times where you use a weapon instead of having to use Carnage, or if you want to use a shotgun, it really depends on how you want to go. Because shotguns do actually have an attachment that increases your melee damage more than, say, the pistol attachment. Even though the pistol attachment also helps stun enemies as well as do a little bit of extra melee damage. Yeah, wave 8 already. Just shoot that because I have a break in combat. No equipment used, no rockets, no meta-gel, that sort of thing. And really, the time that you would use an ammo pack is a funny time indeed with this class, considering I really don't use my weapon at all. Yeah, another thing you want to be careful of, it doesn't come into play too often, but there are times when you will get trapped a little bit in a corner by a bunch of enemies. And you'll notice if you are actually aiming directly at hunters, you can hit them with a charge. You can actually use a charge on them, as long as you're aiming directly at them. But if you get trapped in a corner, you will want to get out of that. Use whatever it takes, because if you cannot charge, you will get hurt. Yeah, just the ease of being able to take out all of these enemies. My shields don't even go down. Got 2 bombers, a pyro, a hunter. Oh man, this is fun. I'm gonna have to start playing Mass Effect again. Yeah, you see no fear shooting that swarm and going directly into it. That is one of the very big advantages of this build. Even if you have something like the very overpowered Geth Prime character, the Geth Juggernaut, I believe it's called, which is one of my favorites as well. You'll notice that the shield recharging ability on that is not as fast as you would actually like. It is a little bit better for something like Platinum difficulty. And there's there's the 5 grabs medal. But something like on Platinum difficulty, you're going to want to go with the team regardless. There is no surefire way at this point of nerfs and patches and all that Mass Effect team has done. There is no surefire way to solo Platinum. It's all going to be actually based on your skill as a player more than anything else. There are no real overpowered builds for that. But the Geth Juggernaut is actually a team kind of character. For example, if you find a nice place to kind of hole up, like on Firebase Giant, for example, right in the spawn, you could even do this. You can use a Geth Juggernaut, have a Volus there for team support, something to put down a Recon Mine or two in front of them just to increase the damage that you can do to anything close. And then, of course, an Infiltrator to take out objectives later on. But that's actually a very effective, just straightforward team build for Platinum. This guy, not going to be very effective on that. One, for the insta-grabbing enemies, the insta-kill, sync-killing enemies, but also because he is not very support-based. When I'm playing with multiple characters, even low-level characters that I'm just trying to level up, typically it's actually going to be better to let them die than try and revive them. This is simply because if this guy takes a pause in combat at all, believe it or not, he will die. Just to revive an enemy, that does take a second or two. That is a large amount of time in Mass Effect multiplayer combat. Just like in Call of Duty, you know, when people change things by fractions of a second, it will influence the gameplay because it's so fast-paced. And that's something with multiplayer in general, I think. But you actually see right here a little bit. There are some times where I'm getting stunned, but you can see the rhythm very clearly. I am using a charge, and I can actually hold B before the charge is over, and I can go right into a heavy melee. Do a regular melee, and then while that regular melee is executing, I can do another early B press for another heavy melee. By that time, my shield is exactly recharged. And that will, of course, vary if you have anything else that will boost your recharge speed or something like that. Yeah, so you can actually see that I'm really focusing primarily on the primes here. Like I said before, if you focus purely on the primes, everything else around you will die just from biotic charges. The primes are going to be the one thing that you want to get the extra melee damage in, because if you kill all of the small stuff, unless you're in a swarm a little bit bigger than what I have right now, focusing on the big guys, you're going to end up with only big guys left if you don't focus purely on them. And that typically won't be conducive to playing well, especially because the melee can actually stun the bigger enemies, and they're the ones that will deal out most damage. It will be most effective to go against them purely, and then let you charge through the rest of the work, usually. So. There is also nothing better than feeling like a badass Krogan in this game too. So, I'm not sure exactly if this works too well nowadays, but walking backwards and melee and doing a regular melee with the Krogan will actually get you to walk faster if you're using, or if you're doing one of these objectives here. Just make sure you know the path so you don't get stuck on anything here. But you can actually see that is a very, very fast objective. And that's partly because of this map, partly because this is a Krogan character. There are times when you will not be able to do it fast enough, and you have to, see here my little strategy, get underneath the primes and get them on the stairs so that no matter how many people are on me, that's one prime that I don't have to worry about. But there are times when you will get into a group of enemies with the package that you have to retrieve and bring to the extraction point. What you do in that circumstance is you actually just walk right into the middle of them, and right when your shields can't take it anymore, do a biotic charge, get your shields back up, and then you can actually, if you can, quickly pick up the package again and start walking again. Make your way slowly through them, just using biotic charge whenever you need to. recharge your shields. It's actually a very, very nice class for any kind of objective. The worst ones really are when you have a standing hack and you can't hide around a wall, in which case you have to get out of the hack for a little while, attack the enemies, get your shields up, and then run back into the objective. Or like before, those 4 activate the objectives, in which case you really have to use a bit of strategy to stay away from them. But it looks like we actually got to the extraction wave. You can see 10 waves survived. Very, very easy. And here, keep them away from the objective for a while. Just go up there and farm out points. This is actually a point where there are so many enemies that I will start going against these smaller enemies first, just to take care of them. And you'll see a Geth Bomber there, I think, just spawned right in front of me right away. But yeah, because there are so many enemies, my Biotic Charge can only affect some. There aren't any stairs really nearby that I can use to deflect the primes. I just have to take on the small enemies. Otherwise I will die. And here you can see I'm actually having a little bit of trouble doing that Biotic Charge. You will want to be aware of that. So I actually got out of that, started going on the outside here, started focusing on small enemies again. And I almost died there, but not quite, not quite. You always want to keep an eye on the timer there. Around 30 seconds is when you want to start thinking about moving. 35 sometimes. So I'm thinking about, okay, just finish these guys up a little bit. And around 20 seconds is the time where you can go from anywhere on the map and get to the objective. Sometimes it'll take a little bit less than that, but I always give myself 20 seconds just in case I get caught on something. And you can see here, I'm just using this gun here just to get some extra points there, make sure I get some shots in on the enemies before I get the extraction here, just so that when they die here, then I get the points. So, you can actually get a lot of points doing this. You can get it done very easily. Not the shortest, at half an hour. I've done this in about 20 minutes or so, I think is my fastest, but alright. So, you can see I'm still only at level 19. You can do this at a level 17 without upgrading Krogan Battlemaster there. I'm just going to show you, those are my weapon mods. This is my Talon. As long as you get 200% recharge, that's all that matters. And then equipment here. Juggernaut Shield is what I had on. I typically would go with, I'll show you here in a second, Shield Booster 5. Otherwise, you can also put on, like I said, Stronghold Package. And you can just farm out premium Spectre packages like this. Let's see what I get here. And also, if you ever do need a little bit of help, if you aren't as good with this as I am, which it does take a little bit of practice, you can actually add on a quick little shield booster one-off pack. Shield damper, whatever it's called. Level 2 or level 3, make it super easy for you. Level 4 is just overkill. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Rate the video if you liked it, if you're going to use this strategy, and I'll see you next video.